So tonight, or for this podcast, or for this video segment, wherever you're listening to from, you're talking about Agent Carr.
Orpheus.
Yep.
Is he a Lincoln, a Buick, a Chevrolet? What kind of car is Agent Carr?
Nice.
Well, it's 2 R's, so I don't know.
Oh, have to be technical. Okay.
And can anybody roll their R's? Because I'm sure anybody who does Spanish very well can roll their R's. I cannot roll my R's. I'm married to a Latino woman, but
I don't know if I've practiced.
I can't even say my R's right. So
it's
nice
car, and, and they can do R at the same time. It's just rolling.
I have to get into the conversation. Like when I get into the conversation, it's easier, but I can't really like pull it out of nowhere. It's different. It does not exist in English. That sound doesn't exist in English. That's why it's so hard for us.
Exactly.
By the way.
And Arable's on the chat saying rolling R's is very easy. Well, that's what my wife says too, but I cannot. After 13 years of marriage, I cannot do it.
You're purring, Joe.
and Marion's getting in the chat too and speaking Spanish. Marion, I love you.
Yeah, deberías hablar español. There you go. She's saying you have to learn it. You have to learn to speak Spanish.
Yes, yeah. I know. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the card tonight. So let me read this. Okay, Agent Carr. So Rise of the Valkyrie Master Set. You can I literally have 5 or 6 extra Agent Carr cards and no miniatures to these cards. So I mean it's everywhere. Agent Carr. From Vidar, human, unique hero, agent, tricky, medium, height 5. Special abilities, Ghost Walk. Agent Carr can move through all figures.
Oh, camera.
Sword of Reckoning, 4. If Agent Carr is attacking an adjacent figure, add 4 dice to Agent Carr's attack. Disengage, Agent Carr is never attacked when leaving an engagement. Has 4 life, 5 movement, 5 spaces, range 6 spaces, attack 2, defense 4, 100-point value. So, based on just the card stats on its own, we'll get to lore in a second. But on the the stats itself, pretty solid miniature. I mean, especially for the starter set to play. I mean, you realize that it's like okay, it can move through all figures, and it can basically come up and swatch you. All it has to do is just be adjacent to a figure to have that attack value to go to 6. And then just leave.
Yeah, I mean, he's really versatile. I mean, a range of 6 with attack of 2 is pretty solid. And like I said, Sword of Reckoning is an absolute beast of a power. Plus which is interesting with that he has Ghost Walk and Disengage. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think anyone else has those 2 powers together, right?
It's quite an impressive range too.
Ninjas of the Northern
The
Wind.
ninjas.
Okay.
And that's before they came up with Phantom Walk to combine them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Phantom Walk.
Something about that sounds familiar. Like they.
Phantom Walk is those 2 combined.
Airball in the chat is saying Agent Carr, the unit with Phantom Walk without Phantom Walk. Yeah, it's called Ghost Walk.
Yeah.
It was prototype Phantom Walk.
I really wish that all of his stats was +1, and I think he actually would be worth his points.
Oh, for 100 points?
Oh, you're saying if he was a move is 6, a range of 7, attack of 3, defense of 5?
Well, maybe keep his defense at 4.
Okay.
The fact that he can't really do hardly any damage at range sucks. Because why would I take 100 points for Agent Carr when I can just take the Craft for the same points?
For sure.
The only thing he can really do is be a can opener. That's really what he has over them. But not at... He can't do anything really effectively until he gets over there. That's my main problem with him.
So Tommy, do you think this is why? Because I notice it's you don't see Agent Carr really often in the tournament. I mean, ScapeCon, I don't think I saw him at all there. So do you think that's the reason why? It's just there's units probably a little bit better point value for the card for him.
Oh yeah, he He's really just the best thing about him is he can be a can opener with his 6 attack dice with Sword of Reckoning, and he can just get wherever he needs to do it. It's just there's so many other things that can do what he does. I mean, other stuff can get more attacks in for an Automarker, and that's where he's weak at. So if he was able to provide like a better ranged attack to make up for it, I think you may see him splash into stuff occasionally. But as he is, he's just not worth the points.
Right. I mean, I suppose when it comes to, I mean, the ranged attack, I mean, if you get a little bit of height advantage too, there's an extra attack die. I mean, that helps maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
able to get height.
Yeah, there's still like, I guess even nowadays, like I'd rather have Heirloom for 90 points.
For sure.
He's a lot harder to kill. He can chuck 4 attack dice and melee, and then also he has a ranged special attack, which gets around a lot of stuff. So it's just like I think they overcosted the Phantom Walk with him is what I think that's why he ended up at the cost he did at the time.
Okay.
So they overvalued it. I think, let's see, how much is he in Delta? Is he in 80? I feel like he's 80 at some point. I'm going to look that up now.
Okay, give it a check real quick. I'm going to mention some comments. Undamped Pick here. While I was talking here, it says, Undamped Pick says, because you can take both Agent Carr and the Krav. Yeah, I think they would probably work well together with the Krav agents. I mean, that's in the Rise of Valkyrie set. That's kind of what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be kind of hand in hand there. Arable says, I think it would already a big help if it would have an attack 3, and sword gives +3 instead. You could be right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just changing the attack to 3 and then the Sword of Reckoning being Sword of Reckoning 3 and attack 3. That might be a little bit more balanced. Yeah, you do.
That's the same problem I have with Valgard. He also has 2 attack base and gets +4 with +3 with his charge. I can't remember the exact name of the ability. I have the build pulled up. Let me look. Force Assault 3. Yeah, both Agent Carr and Valgard have the same problem with that their base attack is just too low, and they have to strive really hard to get the ability to trigger to get a bunch of extra attack dice. If they just gave them a higher base stat and a lower bonus, I think they would both see more play. Okay. And for Delta, Agent Carr is 80 points. I think I would only start considering him at 70, honestly, though. Okay. But just because you really would only bring him for that 6 attack dice at melee.
Right.
That's me personally, that's what I only would bring him for.
Would his points be justified if there was a unit or a squad that could bond with him or buff him in some way?
Oh yeah. There's the command couriers in VC that can bond with him kind of. I think more is the problem of how the command couriers work. They have to run adjacent to someone to pass the order marker off. I like the idea in concept. It's just execution is a little bit tricky for my taste.
Right. It feels like there should have been more, to go with this miniature, and just things were left uncompleted, basically.
Yeah, I feel like it has a lot of great ideas for it to walk. It's just his execution didn't pull off right enough for me to want to bring. Because I keep looking, I'm like, oh, he's so cool. And it's like, oh, yeah, he can't really hit anything hard enough for my tastes. Okay. So I end up not taking him.
That's fair enough. I mean, I suppose, do you think, though, in tournament play, if you would use them, I mean, you could still match things up, say, if you were using, like, Delta points or others. I mean, if you didn't have the other miniatures, it would probably still be an okay thing to have with tournament play, as long as he was, linked up and bonded with certain other squads and miniatures, correct?
Yeah, if he had some synergy with something else, I think you'd see more use. It's just, even out of the core set, there's other stuff that I'd rather take than him, unfortunately.
For sure. Okay.
Let's see. Now, if he had stealth dodge, like the Krav do, then I think I'd be okay with the lower attack. Because he'd be really hard to hit with 4 defense natively. for that.
Okay.
And then he comes up there and smacks you with 6 attack dice when he finally catches you. Yeah, I would take him at that. You just run him over to a glyph and park him on it with stealth dodge and say, "Yeah, go ahead and try to kill me at range. And if you get up here, then I'll just smack you with 6." I don't know. Yeah, if he had something like that, either a little bit higher stats or stealth dodge, I think he would have justified his cost more.
All right. Well.
Yeah, stealth dodge is pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah. And maybe just adding on like the points. I mean, do you think that would be equal 100 point value, or would you raise up the points a little bit higher for that?
I probably would raise his points up, but I would say let him be the bargain thing, because you have Sergeant Drake at 110 as well, and he's also a can opener. He can't disengage and stuff like Agent Carr can. So you could probably get away with both of them being 110 and saying, "Hey, which flavor of can opener do you want in your list?" So.
All right, well let's get into like some of the lore on Agent Carr, because he might not be everybody's favorite miniature to play, but he does have a little bit of lore, a little bit of background. I mean, it's obvious what he's supposed to represent. But let's read the character bio here. It says, on his home planet Earth, Agent Carr was a revered master at Krav Maga. The no rules art of face-to-face street combat was his with his superhuman senses, lightning fast reflexes, and advanced stealth techniques. Agent Carr simply cannot be caught off guard. A cautious man who leaves nothing to chance. Carr is also well schooled in the art of weaponry. He usually carries a gun and a long sword, both gifts from Vidar, his Valkyrie general. Agent Carr is the strong, silent type who asks few questions and answers even fewer. So when it comes to the lore aspect, now I think like in the lore in the canon, even like in the introductory video, like very old Heroscape introductory video for Agent Carr, he's from like the future. Is that correct? Yeah.
Do you know how he got summoned?
He got summoned because he was going to be poisoned eating the candy bar?
No, that's what it appears to have been, but there's actually another reason why.
Okay.
Do you know it?
Nope. Not at this second.
Okay. You want me to spoil it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. He's about ready to be assassinated by Isamu.
Oh, right. That's right.
He was snacking. When you see him snacking that candy bar, I believe Isamu was either coming through the window or he was in the room somewhere. He was about in the area. He's getting ready to stab him, basically, and he got summoned right before then. So,
Jeremy,
we didn't know that was the case until Isamu got announced. But at the time of the video, it looks like it was the candy that poisoned him. So,
Jeremy, can you confirm that?
Oh yeah, no, that's all right. That's
And I figured I know I heard that somewhere. I just didn't
remember. my salt with the situation regarding that lore, and this is why it's not very well known, is that information was available on the first rendition of the Heroscape site, and this was prior to the nuking that went place during Swarm of the Morrow. Right when they changed the site design completely for Swarm of the Morrow, old content disappeared. Like stuff that they wrote disappeared, and there was a sublink that you could access in the 2004-2007 era of the website that it was called the online character tips or something like that. And there was little fun facts that were posted for each of these characters, and all the bits about Isamu attacking Agent Carr, that was in Isamu's fun facts in his little online character tips, which is now no longer accessible. The only reason why I know this was a thing and I didn't make it up was because someone actually posted it in the Heroscape lore channel recently, and I just went back to go look at. Someone found kind of like a paper version that had copied what was on the site onto a paper. That makes sense. They archived it essentially, And so the little bits about, Isam and all that were on those papers. And I'm like, okay, so it was real. Like, I was like, oh man, I didn't make that up. Good. Thank you. But yes, it is lore that was accessible up until 2007. After 2007, it just became a community memory. For anyone that does remember those unit strategy tips or online character tips, I have tried to find them on the Internet Archive, and I cannot. That link is just broken. It's gone forever, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's frustrating because it's cool stuff, but it's stuff that it's like half submerged in the sands of time because of how the link just poofed. I don't like it.
Well, the good thing is now we have it now recorded in the ToV podcast for posterity. So,
there it is. It's in history. It'll stay here.
It'll stay on YouTube or whatever.
Clip it in the chat.
Yep. Wherever I'm able to post it in the future. So for sure. Now, let's go quickly through this because we're almost out of time for this segment. But
I gotcha.
Again, links in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, to go to the books, the books of Heroscape on heroscapers.com, just to look at all the source information on like how to play these miniatures. People give a lot of good information, and so combinations of synergies. We got lag lore, and that's the Vidar's flag bearer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Agent Skahan. Did you say Skahan?
Skahin. That's how I say it.
Yeah. So two very valuable miniatures that you have to collect in order to play Agent Carr. Synergy benefits offered Otanashi with tricky speed. And then as Tommy was mentioning, there are synergy benefits for C3V with Command Courier and Ebon Armor. But really not much. I think you guys are right in closing this segment out. That yes, Agent Carr, definitely I think an undervalued miniature when it comes to tournament play, probably for a good reason. There are other better miniatures to play out there. Yet still, interesting character, interesting backstory. And anything else you want to say? Do you want to say something, Tommy?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
He feels like the greatest example of something that looks cool in concept.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put it down on the table, it doesn't do what you're expecting it to, which is unfortunate. Because I like the miniature, I like how it looks and stuff.
For sure.
Especially from the starter set and stuff.
And I'll let that be the final word for that. So that has been this segment for looking at squads and heroes. And like I said, we're just getting started doing these things, to just going alphabetically down the line on the books of Heroscape. And so look forward to doing more in the future.